Hi, all my friends. Can you guys hear me? I need to move my mic. Hold on. Make sure people can actually hear me. Hello? Can you guys hear me now? Hey guys. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's doing great. Just trying to get everything set up. Yeah, I have the house to myself today, so I thought maybe we could have a little bit longer stream, just chill, and I wanted to Bible reading today, but I also have a sermon that I might do a reaction to too, because I've been wanting to do that. And I figured it'd be fun if it was live instead of me just going through it and recording it and then putting it on. So, how's everybody else doing? You guys having a good day? Yeah. I got to go to Best Buy today and I got a thing to stream games, so I can start streaming games too, because I love playing video games. And yeah, I think it's a fun way to do that on Twitch too, with people that you know and you can talk to and stuff. So set that up later and see how that goes. Don't know if I'll stream it all today, but definitely stream the Bible stuff today. But I'm excited about that. I feel like a lot of stuff now is online stuff, since we can't go out as much with COVID and everything. So just want to be online and hang out with people a lot more. At least until all this is over and I can go see people in real life. But I know a lot of people are hesitant to do that right now because of everything that's been going on. So alright, well, I think we're gonna get into the reading, and then yeah, we'll see where to go from there. If enough people show up for the reading and they want to see the sermon too, then I can do that. Alright, so today we're gonna start on Genesis 21. I'm gonna read to 23. So I'm trying to remember what we went over yesterday. Okay, so yesterday we did Abraham and Sarah, and just talking about their lives and the things that they were doing, and how Sarah was going to have, God promised Sarah she was going to have a baby, and she said that was crazy because she was old and she didn't think that was going to be possible. So, yeah, and then we got into the second story of Abraham and Sarah going to a king, and the king taking Abraham's wife because he didn't know it was his wife. So it's a repeat of the first story, but with a different king, because the first king was Pharaoh, and then this king was a different king of a different place. So yeah, so today we're going to read 21 through 23 if you want to follow along. I feel like I'm not loud at all today. Okay. Adonai remembered Sarah as he had said, and Adonai did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age. At the very time God said to him, Abraham called his son, born to him, whom Sarah had bore to him, Isaac. Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, and because God had ordered him to do so. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, God has given me good reason to laugh. Now everyone who hears about it will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Nevertheless, I have borne him a son in old age. The child grew and was weaned, and Abraham gave him a great banquet on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom Hagar had borne to Abraham, making fun of Isaac. So Sarah said to Abraham, "Throw this slave girl out, and her son. I will not have this slave girl's son as your heir along with my son Isaac." Abraham became very distressed over this matter of his son. But God said to Abraham, "Don't be distressed because of the boy or your slave girl. Listen to everything Sarah says to you, because it is your descendants through Isaac who will be counted. But I will also make a nation from the son of the slave girl, since he descended from you." Abraham got up early in the morning, took bread and skin of water, and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child. Then he sent her away. After leaving, she wandered in the desert around Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she left the child under a bush, and went and sat down, looking the other way, at a bow-shot distance from him, because she said, "I can't bear to watch my child die." So she sat there looking the other way, crying out and weeping. God heard the boy's voice, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What's wrong with you, Hagar? Don't be afraid, because God has heard the voice of the boy in his present situation. Get up, lift the boy up, and hold him tightly in your hand, because I'm going to make him a great nation." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went, filled the skin with water, and gave the boy water to drink. God was with the boy, and he grew. He lived in the desert and became an archer. He lived in the Paran desert, and his mother chose a wife for him from the land of Egypt. At the time, Abimelech and Pihol, the commander of his army, spoke to Abraham. They said, "God is with you in everything you do. Therefore, swear to me here by God that you will never deal falsely with me, or my son, or grandson. But according to the kindness in which I have treated you, you will treat me, and the land in which you have lived as a foreigner." Abraham said, "I swear it." Now Abraham had complained to Abimelech about a well which Abimelech's servants had seized. Abimelech answered, "I don't know who has done this. You didn't tell me, and I only heard about it today." Abraham took sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and two of them made a covenant. Abraham put 7 female lambs from the flock by themselves. Abimelech said to Abraham, "What's the meaning of these 7 female lambs you have put by themselves?" He answered, "You are accepting of these 7 female lambs from me as a witness that I dug this well. This is why the place shall be called Beersheba, the well of an oath, because they both swore an oath there." When they made the covenant at Beersheba, Abimelech departed with Pichol, the commander of his army, and returned to the land of Plishtim. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree at Beersheba, and there he called on the name of Adonai, and everlasting God. Abram lived for a long time as a foreigner in the land of Plishtim. After these things, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham," and he answered, "Here I am." He said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah. There you are to offer him as a burnt offering on a mountain that I will point out to you." Abraham got up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, took 2 of his men with him, together with Isaac his son. He cut the wood for the burnt offering, departed, and went towards the place God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham raised his eyes and saw the place in the distance. Abraham said to his young men, "Stay here with the donkey. I and the boy will go up there, worship, and return." Abraham took the the wood for the burnt offering, and laid it on Isaac his son. Then he took in his hand the fire and the knife, and they both went up together. Isaac spoke to Abraham his father. "My father," he answered. "Here I am, my son." He said, "I see the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham replied, "God will provide a lamb for a burnt offering, my son." And they both went on together. They came to the place God had told them about, and Abraham built an altar there, set the wood in order, bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar, on the wood. Then Abraham put out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. But the angel of Adonai called out to him from heaven. "Abraham, Abraham," he answered. "Here I am," he said. "Don't lay your hand on the boy. Don't do anything to him, for now I know that you are a man who fears God, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Abraham raised his eyes and looked, and there behind him a ram was caught in the bushes by its horns. Abraham went and looked at the ram and offered it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham called the place Adonai Yireh. The Lord will see, the Lord provides. As it said to this day, on the mountain Adonai is seen. The angel of Adonai came to Abraham a second time out of heaven. He said, "I have sworn by myself, says Adonai, that because you have done this, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, you will most certainly bless you. I will most certainly bless you. And I will most certainly increase your descendants to as many as there are stars in the sky or grains of sand on the seashore. Your descendants will possess the cities of their enemies, and by your descendants all the nations of the earth will be blessed, because you obeyed my order." So Abraham returned to his young men. They got up and went to Beersheba, and Abraham settled in Beersheba. Afterwards, Abraham was told, "Milcah, too, has borne children to your brother Nechor. Utes, his firstborn, Buz, his brother, Kamel, the father of Aram, Chesed, Hazo, Pildash, Yildalaph, and Betula. Betula fathered Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nachor, Abraham's brother. His concubine, whose name was Rimmah, bore children also. Tavach, Gasham, Tak, Ash, and Micaiah. So those Bible names again. You gotta love those. Alright. 23. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. These were the years of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, and was also known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham came to mourn Sarah and weep for her. Then he got up from the dead one and said to the sons of Het, "I am a foreigner, living as an alien with you. Let me have a burial site with you, so that I can bury my dead wife." The sons of Het answered Abraham, "Listen to us, my lord. You are a prince of God among us, so choose any of our tombs to bury your dead. Not one of us will refuse you his tomb for burying your dead." Abraham got up, bowed before the people of the land, the sons of Het, and spoke with them. "If it is not your desire to help me bury my dead, then listen to me. Ask Ephron, the son of Tachar, to give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, the one at the end of his field. He should sell it to me in your presence at its full value. Then I will have a burial site of my own." Ephron the Hittite was sitting among the sons of Het. He gave Abraham his answer in the presence of the son of Het, who belonged to the ruling council of the city. No, my lord, listen to me. I am giving you the field, with its cave. I'm giving it to you. In the presence of my people, I give it to you. Abraham bowed before the people of the land and spoke to Ephron in their hearing. Please be good enough to listen to me. I will pay the price of the field, accept it from me, and I will bury my dead there. But Ephron answered Abraham, My lord, listen to me. A plot of land worth 400 silver shekels. What is that between me and you? Just bury your dead. Abraham got to the point of what Ephron had said. So he weighed out for Ephron the amount of money in which he specified in the presence of the son of Het, 400 silver shekels of weight accepted among the merchants. Thus the field of Ephron in Machpelah, which is by Mamre, the field, its caves, and all the trees in and around it were deeded to Abraham as his possession in the presence of the son of Het, who belonged to the ruling council of the city. Then Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah by Mamre, also known as Havron, in the city of Canaan. The field and its caves had been purchased by Abraham from the sons of Het as a burial site, which would belong to him. Okay. We got to hear about Abraham and Isaac today, which I know as a lot of people who come out of the church, that's one that they very much do not like. Which I understand because, I mean, today with science and things, we can understand people and like how our brains actually work and how science has shown that like people have mental issues and there are things that don't always work correctly in our brains, and the whole story about Abraham and Isaac really sounds like Abraham might have had some mental issues. I mean, if he was seeing things and hearing things, it's quite possible that he could have been dealing with schizophrenia, or who knows, you know, what was going on in his brain. But if, like, I don't think he was a real person, but just looking at this story from a secular viewpoint, yeah, it doesn't sound like he was mentally healthy, and mentally unhealthy people should not be allowed to go off with their children and kill them in the name of God. It's always interesting. It's really interesting to me because, I mean, we hear about these stories a lot in the news today about people, you know, hearing the voice of God or hearing the voice of the devil telling them, like, oh, you need to kill your kids to save them. And then they do it. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's not the God I serve. But that story alone shows, like, that is the God you serve. That God right there just told Abraham to murder his son. And he was going to do it. So you can't say he's not. I know it was supposedly a test, but you can't say that God is not willing to do that. And I mean, God, if you read the Bible, God murdered his own son, and he murders other people's sons. So, I don't know, it's really frustrating to me when a lot of people twist those stories and say, like, oh, well, that's not who God really is. Like, God's gonna test us on our faith, and I don't see any point in that. It's just putting people's lives in danger that don't need to be in danger, so. Okay. Well, thanks for reading along, friends. I think I'm gonna go try to do the reaction video now. So I'm gonna stay here. I'm just gonna switch my layup real fast, so. My reaction video today is gonna be about, Lee Strobel. So I'm gonna switch that and then talk a little bit about like when I left and how that all goes into my leaving the church.